Recently, while doing some study and research into golfers' performance and golfing scores, I came across some interesting statistics. The first one was just 11% of golfers worldwide ever take any golf coaching or any type of golf lessons. The second one connected to this was that 80%, yes, 80% of the world's golfers never reach a handicap of 18 or below. What this means in scoring terms is that 80% of the world's golfers never learn how to break 90 on a consistent basis. And probably moreover, they never actually learn to break 90 at all. Hello, for those who don't know me, my name is Andrew Knott. I'm the owner and director of coaching at Sing Elite Golf Performance Centre at Tana City Country Club. I'd like to take a few moments of your time today to explore the idea of coaching for performance and what that means for your golf game. Firstly, before we get into the details of how we set about improving performance for golfers and lowering golf scores, just a little bit about my story. I wasn't always just a golf coach. Just like you, for 25 years before I started coaching, I was a golfer. And really, right to this day, I still think of golf from the perspective of a golfer. That's myself. When I was playing golf, my focus was always on learning and understanding how can I shoot lower golf scores? How can I get the ball in the hole quicker over the overall round of 18 holes? Now that has fed through into my coaching. And so when I did start coaching full-time 10 years ago, my whole focus and all of my research has always been based on how can I help golfers to shoot lower golf scores. My personal interest in the mind and how the golfer's mind works, along with my desire to understand performance and help players shoot lower scores, meant I soon came to the conclusion that for me, the traditional golf setup and golf coaching setup was flawed. For me, it was loaded to fail. And as I looked at why and tried to understand why, I realized there was one key component that just didn't make sense, that just wasn't actually happening in the traditional golf lesson structure. That one key component is the assessment. You see, if you take a standard golf lesson, and I'm sure that you may have gone for golf lessons before, the situation is that you'll turn up, explain to the coach what's happening and where the ball goes, and then the golf coach will look at your technique, whether that's full swing, chipping, putting, bunkers, any area of the game. There is an immediate presumption that the reason why you're not performing is purely down to the technique. However, research shows that there's a lot more than technique that goes into a golf shot and a round of golf and compiling a golf score. So if a golf score is more than just a technique and it's got other components to it, surely for us to coach you, we need to be able to see more than just the golf swing. If we just take the golfer's word on what is happening and we just critique the golf swing, even using the latest of technology, then we're missing a lot of information and we're missing a lot of what happens to create the golf score. Therefore, I soon realized that the key element to good assessment was to know more about the golfer's game before they arrive for lessons. And one of the key elements is to put this into context. And that means going out on the golf course and having a playing assessment before you even start coaching. However, even though I knew this maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago, I wasn't brave enough to implement it. Why? Well, there are two main factors to that. The first one is it breaks with the norm. And so when people come to me make inquiries about golf lessons and I tell them that our first stage is that wasn't what they were expecting. And that can shock people. The second reason that goes in conjunction with that, not what's being expected, is the cost element. You see, traditionally golf coaching has always been set up in a way that you pay for lessons by the hour. And when we go out on the course and we do golf course instruction, that's just a multiple of the hours that we're out there. If we did 18 holes, that could be up to 5 hours of golf lessons. And if that's your start point, that can be quite intimidating from a cost perspective. However, that said, I knew that it was the way forward in terms of helping people with golf performance and helping them to shoot lower golf scores. So 3 years ago, I'd grown my reputation, I'd grown my client list big enough that I could actually start doing this and saying, no, if you want to work with me, that's the way we're going to go. And for the last 3 years, it's been highly successful. But the problem is it hasn't reached enough golfers, because I know there's a lot more golfers out there that I can reach and that we can help with their performance, which is exactly what they want to do. So just take a moment and let me just explain what you would get that's different when you have an assessment of your golf game on the golf course first. Well, the first thing is that we get to see what is behind the golf shot. When you come, let's take the full swing. When you come to the academy, to the driving range, and you're hitting balls, there's a few problems. The first one is there's no real context to the golf shot. You're just hitting the ball out somewhere. The driving range bears no resemblance to an actual golf course. And so, as you're hitting balls, there's no process to the shot. And that process can be a vital cog in why you hit a shot well, but also why maybe your swing and technique breaks down. When we go out on the golf course, the first thing I get to do is to see your mannerisms. I get to see how you prepare to hit shots. I get to see the process, the decision making. I get to watch your body language and your mannerisms standing over the ball. This gives me a real key indicator as to what you're thinking and what's going on in your mind as you're preparing and as you're about to hit the golf shot. All of these things are vital for us to know why the technique and why things are happening the way they are. The second thing you get is that we get some relevance and we get some context to this situation. You see, you say you have bad shots, but how are they really affecting your score? When we go out on the golf course, I'm able to view you and see where that puts you in position and how that affects your golf score going forward from there. Maybe even as much as how that affects how you play the next hole. These things are key and vital for us to get to the bottom of how we can make your golf score lower in the quickest and painless way possible. But that's not all that you get. We also have another bonus. You see, for me, the most important part about coaching is the relationship between the coach and the student, the relationship between me and you. So when you come to a traditional golf lesson, we get maybe 5 or 10 minutes to speak. You hit maybe 5 or 10 balls, maybe 15 balls, and then I'm going to try and give you some golf instruction. We haven't really formed the relationship. The beauty about golf is we get to walk and spend between 2 to 5 hours around the golf course, just getting to know each other and getting to chat. That's going to play a huge role when we come to do the coaching later on, when we start to understand and a relationship has been formed. Now, there's also one extra bonus. We want to make sure that this is a really valuable experience for you. So at the end, rather than just me giving you some verbal feedback, which I will do, I will also produce a written report that will detail what I believe is holding you back in your golf game, the key areas that you should go away and work on, and recommendations of how you should come and work with our team and what parts of our team you need to work on in order to get the results that you're looking for in your golf game. Okay, so going through that and understanding the why and the need to do that, of why that's going to be so important in terms of how we can then really get to the bottom to improve your performance, has been dealt with. But that still leaves the issue of cost. So what I've been looking at is how can we get the cost to the same price as a golf lesson would cost you? Yes, that's right. The goal of this was to make sure that when we gave you this offer, that the cost of this assessment playing would be exactly the same, even less than what it would cost you to have a 1 hour lesson with us in the first place. And that's exactly what we've done. Now I know that you're serious about your golf game and you're serious to look at how you're going to improve your performance, not just your golf swing, your putting stroke or your chipping technique. How do I know that? Well, because you're still here listening and watching the video. If you wasn't interested, you'd have tuned out by now. So that really just leaves one question. Are you ready? Is the time right now for you in order for you to come and work on your performance and start lowering your golf score and shoot the golf scores you've always dreamed of? If that's the case, what you need to do is at the end of this video, you need to click on the link to our sign up page and get signed up straight away onto one of our golf coaching assessment days. It's really important that you do it straight away because the places are really limited on this. There's only a certain amount of people I can take at any one time in order to put this through. So all that leaves me to say is thanks very much for your time and listening. go to the link, click through to our sign up page, and I look forward to seeing you on the golf course really soon.